Fisher College versus CU Boulder. CU Boulder, it's, look, this is their words, not mine, when I say this is not to disparage any other players, but this team has been the Saligo show, right? Former LCS mid laner, spent a lot of time in the tier 2 system. He is the head honcho of this team. That kind of showed in game 1. Axeman, for me, if I'm looking ahead to game 2, I know that Heloisia and One Tyler especially, he's someone else that you can give the ball to. I understand why that center combination exists, why you put an AD carry on the quote unquote, like the farming support tank role. That's a change that I want to see moving forward here. Give One Tyler the ball. Let this man cook.
Yeah, 100%. I think that could be a good adaptation for them coming through. Mentioned before we went to the break, maybe a draft change up for Hawker as well. It's not that the Xinjiao was bad. I just feel like a change of pace for him could really affect how this team has functioned compositionally. Belying both of those changes, I think, is exactly what you mentioned about Saligo. He's got to be on the big hyper carry mid laner. I think Corki is maybe a must for this team comp if they want to win in this series. Could potentially be banned out here. We've already seen some targeted bans going towards him in the game 1 draft. So we'll have to see what Fisher has in store for them. But yeah, definitely switching things up. Though, I mean, arguably not much, right? I mean, too bad into Fisher in that game 1. Just felt like they were outmatched man to man.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you saw the way that Jenkins, once he grew into the game, once he was able to take just like, like when I called it, even when I called it out, I'm like, I don't know, he's on an item and a half. Like maybe he doesn't win some of these fights. I think maybe he got a little too, big for his britches going under the tower, trying to get up against Revy. But still, look, it's still a Camille into the tank, right? It's you've got a Cho'Gath ult for a Q as Camille. You're able to rip into that tank just fine. I think I might have underestimated just how much damage Jenkins would have done. But you saw Axe. I mean, you talk about draft, and also we're going to get into draft just as soon as that is ready. That is the next on the docket. But Axe, that's another thing that I'm kind of, worries me a little bit going forward. We were talking before the game. We said, look, Fisher, they've got name value out the wazoo, right? On experience alone, this roster, as far as a ceiling is concerned, you could see them crashing the Winthrop, Maryville, Ole Miss party. But Jenkins, he's that X factor. He's the straw that stirs the drink for me, right? In his first 2 games, played the Kennen, deathless into a Gwen, into Inigo Montoya for Ball State, the top laner there. 0-4-0 on the Gwen, 0-2-0 on the Fiora. They just had no answers for him, and this is not to denigrate Revy, but it's just really tough, especially when you throw 4 bans at the dude, and he comes out with just kind of your Camille, and you go, well, great, he still got that. That makes me sad.
Yeah, 100%. Struggling to make things happen there on the Ornn for Revy in the previous game. And arguably, I mean, Jenkins had a terrible, start to that game in terms of, the situation that he had to deal with, right? And he still made fireworks happen, getting that early kill in the middle lane onto Saligo. And, of course, catching back up with Revy as he got back into lane and making big plays in the latter part of the game. So, yeah, Jenkins, huge part of the team comp there as well. But star of the show for Fisher, for me, it's got to be DMK, man. I mean, he's just sitting down, kind of a sleeper a little bit there on the Jinx. We'll see what he gets into in the next game's draft. We got that coming up for you here now. Let's see what these 2 teams have got for us in terms of bans.
All right, and on to the blue side, we go CU Boulder. Again, I think that Talia pick is still going to be on the ban table. You saw Saligo pilot that in their series against UT Dallas, dominated on it. And again, we talk about on Corki, it's not quite the same, right? Talia really enables you more to leave lane. Obviously, with the Weaver's Wall, it's so much easier to get around the map. The wave clears a little bit better, right? You can take 1v1 duels a little bit easier, especially in the early game, especially pre-6, pre-11. But so far, Axe, it's looking like it's going to be the similar sorts of bans here. There are just certain power picks that these cats have that the other teams are saying, absolutely not. You're going to have to beat us the hard way.
Yeah, and of course, that Talia ban coming through there as well. Saligo, massive Talia, massive Talia coming through. No more Ashe either. That was another ban. I think it was a 3rd round ban in the previous game. We'll see that Renekton ban come through. I think Jax was the 3rd one that you had mentioned. That was a Galio ban last game.
Yeah, the Galio was first, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what they go for here. If they try to ban out Muffin Hawker with this Jax, maybe give up the Galio to Saligo. Could be interesting adaptation there for him. But Fisher also just on top of the world, maybe just run this draft back.
I mean, you wouldn't be totally surprised, right? I mean, so far, the pick ban has shaken out pretty much the same way, right? DMK, like you said, he's as dangerous as they come. And you could put him on the Jinx, or you could put him on something a little more early game focused. I mean, shoot, against Ball State, granted, I think slightly inferior opposition in my opinion to CU Boulder, but that's not to take anything away from them. he was on the Jhin in game 1, had a 12-0-3 Jhin game. Those are the kinds of that when I queue up as Jhin, that's what I always want to happen. Spoiler alert, that is never what happens when I play Jhin. Mr. Helpful is always Mr. Unhelpful. Azir is the B1 here for Saligo. Answered back. Keel going to be back on the Skarner, excuse me. DMK on the Varus. So we'll see where he goes the on hit, whether he goes to lethality. Might change based on the rest of the draft and how that shakes out here. But another strong pick in the hands of a strong player for Fisher Axe, man.
Definitely could be a likely lethality there in that particular trade. I think it builds back into what he's been trying to do with the champions he's played so far in the tournament, right? With the Jinx, with the Jhin, just dealing a bunch of damage up top and winning the fight off of those initial strikes you get. There's no way. We got Draven Nautilus. Holy moly. One Tyler is coming out swinging with the Draven pick. Wow, you got the Nautilus in the back pocket there too. That should be Heloisia's though. We've seen one Tyler play Nautilus already. Hey man, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out together later on. But we're back in the bans now. It should be solo lane bans coming at you quick here. I don't know. I feel like I like an Orianna ban into Serenok here. What are we thinking?
I mean, it seems like he's got a stable of control mages that he could pick, right? I mean, so, you know, but I think Orianna you can deal with. I don't know if I want to take that away. I think, again, I don't know. I mean, because on the one hand, I'm like, well, you got to bury Jenkins, right? He's kind of your biggest threat here, but homie's got an ocean, right? Lil bro's got a chance. It's not a champion puddle. It is a wave. It is an ocean. We are crashing tsunamis here. But I want to go back to Tyler 1. Or, I see the Draven, I say Tyler 1. Again, Freudian slip, whatever that. I don't know what Freudian slip means. One Tyler is on the Draven here. When I guess he heard me. When I said let this man cook, I don't know if I had Draven on the mind, but I really like it because, again, if you are CU Boulder, you've got to take big swings here, right? Fisher, they're going to play pretty standard here. They're going to play to their strengths. They play the meta. They play it extremely well, but you've got to take a big swing here, and this is about as big a swing as it gets, Axe.
Yeah, it certainly is. That second Talia ban is actually an Ornn ban coming through, and then we'll get the Gnar ban out here as well. But yeah, big swings really from both sides, I would say. Going into the back half of the draft, we got some picks coming up now as well. I'm thinking you need more support in terms of what you're trying to do in the back line. I think here, if you're Fisher, need a mage mid laner there for Serenok, something that's going to help Dragon Min Kim carry you over the finish line. I think Orianna fits that mold for me, and R4 Orianna, I think, makes a lot of sense here. We'll see. No, of course, going through with the Vigar. We've seen that before.
Yep, we saw that in Game 2 of Fisher's win against Ball State. Another pretty good game for him. I don't think it was deathless, but very solid game on the Vagar as well. So you've got another scaling option that does big buku damage. On the other side, it will be the Cassante there for Revy. So that's how that's going to shake out. Muffin Hawker going to be on the Sejuani. Again, this is a guy that he loves to cook in solo queue, but when it comes to comp, he usually, you know, he will do whatever you need him to do. Tank and spank, bruiser junglers, engage, ganking, whatever. You name it, this guy can play it again. Muffin Hawker. Got to see CLOL top 16 before, so he's back in the promised land for the first time in 2 years. Took a game off Winter before they ultimately fell 3-1 a couple years ago. We'll see what the R5 is here for who else? Jenkins and Axeman. It's the exact same bans that he is facing. So I think the obvious question is, does he go to the exact same champion into a Sejuani Cassante? I don't hate the Camille again.
I don't hate the Camille either. You have other tank shredding options.
Let's go, baby. Come on.
That's the Camille. Lock it in.
Nice.
Lock it in for 4x4 out here. Calling his shot. I like to see it there, but we got exactly what we wanted for Fisher. We got the Camille like you called it. We got the Mage like I called it. And they have a fantastic team composition moving into this game. But as far as like how solid the team comp for Fisher is, it almost seems like the opposite for CU Black. They have drafted just the ball to the wall, absolutely firework fest composition over here. They got Draven first off, just to start out the draft for you. Draven Nautilus coming through. You got Saligo on Azir there as well. This team is coming at you fast in the early game and trying to control that bottom side, trying to control those neutral objectives, just like they did in game 1.
And I think the one thing you got to worry about, right? I mean, obviously you've got the firepower, you've got immense amounts of CC, but the Varus Tom Kench, that's a very safe lane, right? One Tyler and Heloisia are going to have to play their behinds off, and Muffin Hawker as well. Going to have to really coordinate his ganks very, very well. And look, half of having a good bot lane communication, right, with yourself and your support is also watching out for your jungler, right? Jungle support synergy and how you're going to communicate and how you're going to get one Tyler ahead, get him rolling in this game. Because if he gets rolling, he's got 2 tanks, he's got Peel from the Azir, he's got Peel from the Nautilus. He can absolutely rip here. 5 point on the red side here for Fisher College. Again, they've swapped sides. Revy and Jenkins just making like a middle school dance, leaving a little room for Jesus there in the tri-brush, but no longer. Revy said something that Jenkins didn't like. He brought his friends here. Jenkins says, absolutely not. I do not want to be any part of this. But this is, again, Boulder going for the same sort of cheeky little invade here, putting the pressure on early. But this time, I think Fisher College, they are smart to it. We still might get some fireworks, though, here, Axe.
Yeah, they're still walking in, seeing what they can get. We're seeing some early positioning coming through from Fisher there, too, trying to counter a little bit, but
they got 3 wards down, Max.
That's a lot of wards. Yeah, they got a lot of vision, a lot of good tracking on Akil this early in this game. And it looks like another lane swap. We'll see what one Tyler and Heloisia do. They're still looking for this pick onto Jenkins.
Yeah, trying to start it off strong here. Revy and Hawker onto the opposing red buff. Jenkins going in here. He's got no backup. But with those high base damages, right, and he took 1 point into Q here pretty quick. Excuse me, no, he didn't. He just took the hook shot, I think, first. But either way, he is dead. That's the long and the short of it. He picked a fight that he could not win, and indeed he didn't. A rare, uncharacteristic slip here from Jenkins.
Yeah, really, and kind of a similar situation to game 1 there, too. A tough starting point for him to start out on. He made good use of that situation in game 1. I would expect the same here in this game, but once again, CU Black back in the driver's seat for the beginning of game 2. I think that they can build this one into a sizable lead, but Jenkins back out, still level 1. He's going to go back in.
Goes right back in with the hook shot. Gets a little bit of the shielding, but the permafrost stacks do stack up here, right? Melee champion here on for Revy. So able to stack those up really, really quick here. But Jenkins, yeah, just having a bit of a rough time of it, not really letting him play some League of Legends here on a Saturday night, which is never a position you want to find yourself in, especially if you do want to play League of Legends on a Saturday night. Keel cleared out his bottom half quadrant, so now roaming up to the top. He knows that that's all gone. He's not trying to get any camps out of it, but he is level 3 off it, so not for nothing, right? He's still even with Hawker. Jenkins and Revy, they're still the same level as well, right? So even though Jenkins got kind of hosed here early, and I think the worst crime he committed was giving the kill over to Revy, right? Because as far outside of that, he's still even with his opposite number here.
Yeah, he's doing okay for the time being. One Tyler, meanwhile, stacking up the minions. And now Revy down here to answer DMK. Poom, I'm thinking it's going to blow up any second, dude. I can see Jenkins absolutely all inning with Poom falling up right behind here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and DMK using his range advantage to just take that lane solo here onto Revy. Revy did have to use his TP, but so did Jenkins. So both those laners not having that in their back pockets here. But DMK perfectly happy to just keep grabbing CS kind of for free here. And you see how tough a time Revy is having getting back into this one. He's a full 8 CS down now on the Camille. And the Camille's just, I mean, playing into a 2-man lane here. Poom. Yeah, you can tell he wants that Abyssal dive. He wants that ability to go in here. But hang on a second here. Keel might get the kill onto Saligo. The baby cage comes down, not going to find its mark. But Saligo did have to blow the flash there.
Really close. You remember in game 1, Saligo actually died to a gank just like that, but he'll survive this go-around. Maybe a better sign that he's going to get that scaling dream through with the Azir. We wanted them to control bot side with this Draven Nautilus combination, but they lane swapped up in the top end. It might just be control the top side neutral objectives for CU Black, but they got all the neutral objectives in game 1, so who knows here, 4x4. Certainly not me. This team has surprised me in several ways.
Yeah, no, and I think this draft, again, in game 2, it really makes me a lot happier because they are pulling no punches, right? You saw kind of the guts with which they played in game 1, but I feel like the draft early on really didn't allow them to take fights on a lot of fair terms, and I give as much credit to Fisher as anything, right? Is that they took fights on good terms. They took fights when they wanted to, when Jinx hit her item spikes, when when the Luden's Companion was in the inventory for Serenox, Orianna, right? They took fights on their terms, and they didn't allow them to get to that 5v5 stage, right? Saligo had an item and a half, right? He had a half-stacked Mana Moon and a Hex Drinker. That is not Corky's final form there, right? But he didn't allow him to play good competitive League of Legends. And now this is a draft that I think Boulder has set themselves up in a much better position now. And they've got that 1-0 lead, obviously, as well. Serenok here, going with the Bando Glass Mirror first up, Axe. So this is, this is another way you can play Veigar, right? This champ kind of takes care of itself as far as the scaling and damage is concerned. If you're farming well with your Q, with your Baleful Strike, not going to land there with the Event Horizon onto Saligo, but opting just be a bit of more of a support, right? There's other damage on this team. There's more than enough.
Exactly. Yeah, they're trying to play around DMK, right? That hyper carry down the bot lane for them. And that plays directly into that win condition for themselves here, too. Trying to set up for the gankers coming through the mid lane, trying to track down Saligo there, too. So, just like you said, support staff for them. Meanwhile, CU Black build up the neutral objective lead, just like they did in Game 1. They're taking down the Dragon now. Grubs should be up here in a second as Keel takes down... Keel takes the reset, excuse me. Yeah, it looks like this is spoken for. The Dragon going down uncontested. Difficult stuff for Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough into that Draven Nautilus, right? I mean, DMK and Poom, they run very little risk of dying, right? The all-in potential is really tough, especially now, level 6 here. DMK actually rips the Chains of Corruption immediately. That's what I was looking for there. And Poom going in over the wall here. One Tyler can still dish out the damage with the best of them here. And doesn't have to blow any summoners. Neither One Tyler nor Heloisia blew any of their summoners. And now Hawker maybe looking for a way in here, but he's going to walk over a pink ward. And that will be all she wrote. Keel maybe saying, no, I would like to write something else here. Give me the pen, please, sir. Revy taking the dive there onto Jenkins with a little bit of a funny whiplash there on the hook shot. He will survive.
Yeah, nice hook out there from Jenkins. Really good stuff. Keel still looking for something, but the resets come through, and he won't find much in the bottom lane. A successful heist from CU Black, who will undoubtedly look towards the top side of the map for the Grubs here in a moment. That seems to be the playstyle, just total control of the neutral objectives and giving up a bunch of turret plates in the side. You remember in the last game, I don't think CU Black took a single turret off of Fisher.
I don't remember, but I wouldn't be
they
totally
did.
surprised. But yeah, but I mean, talking about this game, you talk about the turret plates, right? I mean, that's kind of why these lane swaps are a thing, right? And that was Riot's hopes. They said, look, if we, if you crank down the knob on the turret plating, maybe they won't do this. Psych. That did not work at all. And yeah, the lane swap's still very much in effect here. One plate over to the side of CU Boulder and one Tyler and Heloisia, but 2 plates over on the other side for DMK and Puma. Really just DMK. DMK got all that solo experience. It was him against the Cassante early on. And the early objective control from CU Boulder continuing here, Axeman. If there's one thing that they have got down here, it is that early objective control in a much less bloody game here in Game 2.
Certainly is. Yeah, there was a bunch of kills at this time last game. Things really evening out, and both teams playing slower. I don't think... I'm looking for where the next big angle is for CU Black. They are so good at looking for these big plays. Remember, they don't fight fair fights. They look for man advantages. They look for these big cross-map advantages, but they don't have any global ultimates on their team this go-around. So it gets a little bit more difficult for them to do.
Yeah, ever so slightly more. I'm looking at, again, the early game is all about one Tyler, right? So that's the spikes that I'm looking for, right? Is can he get himself to a point where it's, he gets that eye edge first potentially, right? Or whatever he goes for that first item. DMK rips the Chains of Corruption immediately, and Heloisia will pay the iron price.
Certainly will there, and you see one Tyler just kind of walking away right at the top of it there. They might have mistimed DMK's ultimate, something like that. Didn't seem like they knew that ability was coming up. Heloisia gets caught out. Keel now in a potential position to look for Saligo gank here. Observe where he goes. He's kind of interposing himself in the enemy jungle here, staying off the map.
Yeah, Keel right now just kind of shadowing DMK, right? Turret plating still up for another few minutes here. Equalizing as far as the turret plate is concerned. That's 2 over to him now. 2 bricks over to DMK. That ghost going to come back up off cooldown pretty soon here. And the Chains of Corruption already halfway back on back off cooldown, right? And you see as our producers and observers show the gold difference there. That's about 600 gold worth of difference, right, for DMK. The CS is pretty much the same there. And I think part of that is the plates that DMK got, he got them by himself, right? So he's the first one to that big item. And so, again, we're talking about when can One Tyler feel like he wants to accelerate? When can CU Black push their go buttons? Right now, it's a little bit tricky here. Keel going in on One Tyler. They know the win condition just as well as we do, Axeman, and they want to make sure that One Tyler does not get to play League of Legends. Not going to burn the flash or the cleanse. He knew that he was a dead duckling from the get-go. Ixtal's impact into the impale. Ooh, say that 5 times fast. Double kill over to DMK. Holy moly.
Really good effort here from DMK. 3-0 now on the Varus, but another fight breaks out topside. I don't know if Revy's got it in him. We'll see.
Goes all out here. Jenkins able to get the hook shot off. Meanwhile, we've got shenanigans in the mid lane as well. Baleful Strike going to land onto Saligo, but not to any meaningful impact.
Keel's here. Keel's here in the mid lane.
Keel is here in the mid lane. Goes over, but Saligo, apologies, able to flash away there.
Yeah, not quite. Second dragon up here in under a minute. And that could be the first neutral objective to go to Fisher in a very long time in this series.
Yeah, certainly in the early game. It hasn't really been easy sailing for them, but now Axeman, I feel the timbre of the game has really shifted, because I think part of the reason, I mean, I would venture to say the whole reason that Fisher feel emboldened to tackle these neutral objectives in a way that they weren't able to or didn't feel like they should have or could have in the early game in game 1 is because of that man at the bottom right of your screen right there, Dragon Min Kim. He's on a Blade of the Ruined King, and he's not afraid to use it. Serenok is in trouble here. Doesn't even need the Shurima shuffle. As Saligo able to grab his first kill of the game now, getting CU Boulder into, in a little bit of a better position here. But again, the shenanigans continue in the bottom lane. DMK gets his 4th. Keel gets on the board because DMK's like, look, I got 4. It's fine. You guys have helped me get all these. That's okay. I'll keep my 100% KP. 4-0-1. Axe. This is really ugly right now.
Yeah, it's starting to get real bad. For CU Black, holy moly, man. DMK is absolutely unstoppable. You can see why they're going for these lane swap strats. You don't want to be in lane with this guy, right? I mean, who would? Holy cow, Hawker looking for the grubs, finds Jenkins instead.
And will be enough to take him down, but not before the Hextech Ultimatum goes down, trying to get something for his money there. Serenok able to grab the kill in response there onto Saligo. There goes the impale. He grabs 2. Wars the back into their death. Revy trying to get something here. Gets the Q3 down onto Serenok. The Ignite goes down as well, but is able to space himself back very nicely. Gets a Nautilus, gets a grub. What can't Keel do? What an impale from the Fisher College jungler. Boom. Going in, almost able to get the lick down onto One Tyler.
DMK shows up in the backside of that fight, not able to get into the action. Almost assuredly, if he had, it would have spelled doom for CU Black, but as it stands, they're going to back up off of the grubs. They take 3. Fisher be able to trade back with 3 of their own this time, heating up on those neutral objectives. Teleport in from Revy. He's not healthy, but he'll be able to defend the turret. Really good stuff so far from Fisher. They're scaling effectively into this late game, building up a nice little lead for themselves. Most of it's on DMK, but as the last fight showed, it seems like the rest of the squad can hold their own as well.
Yeah, I've been really impressed as well with Keel on this Skarner. I mean, the guy's all over the place, right? I mean, jungling is a game of efficiency. It's a game of time management, right? It's a game of making the right call at the right time, being in the right place at the right time, and he absolutely has been. 6 out of 7 KP. On his way to a deathless game here. It's only, well, that was a little premature. He is deathless currently. There, we'll go with that. But I think 2, if my memory serves me correctly, 2 deathless Rek'Sai games as well. Didn't even get that banned this time around, but opting to go with the Skarner, and good golly, Miss Molly, it is working out very well for him. He's got that Heartsteel online as well, getting that stacked up. It's going to be so tough to kill him, especially when your AD carry is someone like Draven, right? Not only Draven, a Draven that is behind right now. To his opposite number, down 15 CS and 4 kills and an assist. I mean, to have all your eggs in the Saligo basket again when you intentionally drafted in a way that you decided to put these proverbial eggs into the One Tyler basket, it has gone completely sideways for Boulder right now. It's going to be a really tough hill to climb back, Axe. Oh, man.
It really does. Yeah, I mirror that. I'll echo that as well here. Keel waiting in the wings, looking for a way in onto One Tyler one more time. I'm going to put a lot of this on Poom. I know we talked up Keel. I'm going to put it on Poom, man. These engages are incredible.
Goes in with the Abyssal Dive. Stand aside, says One Tyler, and Keel says, actually, you're going to stand right next to me. Kill over to Serenok. A bunch of ults go down, the Ghost as well. The 2 kills over to Fisher College, and now he's got a date with Hawker. Keel's not scared of that, but Saligo is able to rip out the damage here. Serenok able to get the Event Horizon down. Big 2-man stun. The Shurima Shuffle goes out. That's enough to keep the members of CU Black alive for now anyway. But when DMK shows up, that was the window they were trying to fight around. A DMK-less window. but he's opened the window. He's punched his way through. He's got broken glass on his fist. He doesn't care. He decided to beat you with it. It's 11-4 right now for Fisher.
Yeah, not quite the close game that game one was, and they should be able to scale effectively into this victory as well. CU Boulder just not building it out quite the same the way we've seen.
At the bottom of our screen here, a 2,500 gold lead for the bottom lane. 180 carry over the other. I mean, look at the build.
That'll do it. 2
completed items against a garage sale.
Yeah, a real garage sale down there for one Tyler. Not even really sure what he's building towards. I guess Bloodthirster for the Draven, but we'll see what he ends up building there. It's the 2 items for TMK. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's not very good, is it? But DMK having perhaps an even more dominant game this game than he did so far in the series. I guess Varus is kind of a level up for him. Pretty strong champion in the meta right now. And they'll start to build up the Rift Herald advantage there too. They already got the mid turret down. Could look to push further in. Maybe just drop it and rotate onto the Dragon could be the best way forward here for Fisher.
100%. Yeah, no, and Keel, again, making his presence felt, making sure the one Tyler has absolutely nowhere to go. He knows that the 80 carry is going to be parked in the mid lane. He knows where the solo laners are, so he knows there's only one place that one Tyler can go. And Keel's making sure that he knows if he gets close enough and he presses his R key, that he's a dead duckling. And I mean, just look at the vision line, the line of scrimmage, and how deep into CU Black territory this is, right? You don't even, I mean, like you said, dropping the Herald down into the mid lane or in the bottom lane, that is the right play before you go to this Dragon, but they certainly don't need to. Often you see that done to create prio, to be able to take that neutral objective. They do not have to, and indeed, they don't.
Yeah, really good pick potential from the side of Fisher. Really good lockdown, too. You're not allowed to walk into your jungle there. Maybe a pick here into Jenkins. Hawker over the wall.
Yeah, Hawker over the wall here. Doesn't even need the permafrost stack, so one back here for Revy. It's his second kill of the game. Heloisia, happy to join the party and maybe tag on some of that assist gold, get some passive XP, but wasn't in time to do that. Meanwhile, second Dragon of the game does go over there to Fisher College. And again, just lighting up that bottom quadrant of the map, that south quadrant of the map with red side vision. And that Herald still in the pocket of Keel. Axeman. The early lane swaps seemed to work out all right for both teams, but once it was evened up, Keel was right. Keel and Poom, right? You want to credit Poom as well, because the 1-2 punch of engage that they created made the game so easy for DMK.
No, it really does. The setup following through from Serenok there too, and some additional damage build-up there has meant that they got quite the death ball composition through here. It doesn't seem like there's anything CU Black can really do once Fisher all grouped up and looking for that kill. Just like they are here under Revy, we'll skip up to the top side here. Watch the Cassante go down.
Oh, yeah, but now Poom shows up. I was going to say maybe he can have a Cassante moment here early, right? Jenkins not having quite the impactful game that he did last time around, but and of course,
DMK.
They extend the fight long enough to give it to DMK. 8 kills for the man. Unbelievable stuff. Now they finally drop that Herald down. Axe, a dominant game here from Fisher College, it has to be said. Saligo doing his darndest to make something happen in an empty side lane. He knows that they've overloaded on the top side. He's your only real side lane threat right now, right? He's your only he's the only way back into this game for CU Boulder. And thank goodness it's still a tanky competition that they're playing. Hang on a second here, 4x4. You're not gonna have time to finish that point because Hawker is getting chewed through. First kill of the game for Jenkins, Tyler. Gotta be careful here. Keel still got the Ishtal's impact. Nautilus ult does go out there. Lands onto DMK. Flash forward, Heloisia going for the hero play. She lands the hook, but she gets ripped through. The Ignite goes down as well. Big old root there from DMK. Massive chains of corruption. Playing offense here in a big way, but finally will go down. And who else? Saligo at the heart of it. Dragging his team, kicking and screaming whether they like it or not, into potential contention here in this game. It's a triple for him, but Jenkins has responded with 2 of his own.
Jenkins possibly out here. I don't think Saligo has a way to track him down. Maybe Hawker looking for it, but a triple kill from Saligo will put them back at least into some semblance of contest with Fisher. That was quite the gameplay from Saligo. I don't think I've seen anything like that on Azir, the team that this far down.
No, he's doing his darndest, right? I mean, you see.
Is it mid gap? It might be mid gap.
There is a mid gap, but there are other gaps that need to be addressed as well, right? 1,500 gold still here for Jenkins. 1,500 gold lead for him. A really, really big lead in the bottom lane. We've beat that point to death. But in the mid lane, right, Saligo is your way back in. And again, thank goodness that you're playing a composition where you've got so much CC. You've got so much peel. I will say that I think, again, it's a little more telegraphed of a composition, especially with one Tyler kind of out of the picture as far as, you know, the big 80 carry threat is concerned. Fisher know that if they take out Saligo, this game is done and dusted. But the champion with a lot of playmaking. And Draven, still on item and a half. If you leave him free firing, if he gets that LDR online eventually, I don't know if the game's going to last that long, but eventually maybe he can get into this one. And Hawker and Lure are still really tough to chew through, Axe. But, man, DMK doing the right thing. Lethal tempo. Ginsu's Blade of the Ruined King. Tank what? Tank? I don't know. I don't know you. I don't care about you.
Yeah, no, I can't say I do either here at this point. We got several resets coming through. Seems like CU Black just trying to do their best to see if they can't catch up a little bit here before the next big Baron play. You have to assume Fisher going to rip that one at some point in the next 30 seconds here. And that is a difficult part of the map to push into if you're CU Black. I mean, we already talked about a lot of the lockdown that Fisher have. And that damage from DMK has certainly not gone anywhere either. You're pushing into that too. You stack up in the mid bush there and really develop your perimeter if you're Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's one thing that they have been doing, right, is, again, they fight on their terms, right? It's manipulating vision and, and using information to take intelligent fights. That's what separates the good teams from the great teams. The hands and the mechanical difference, it really just starts to even out at this level. Revy in a little bit of trouble here. God, that is so much true damage. You talk about DMK and what he's able to do as far as ripping through tanks. We haven't talked about Jenkins. Hang on a second here. Serenok able to get the kill down. Keel almost got ripped through there by Saligo and one Tyler, but he will survive. And again, the window slams shut on the fingers of CU Black. Saligo able to disco his way out of dodge, but he is on the wrong side of the map. Shurima shuffle there onto Keel, and somehow he gets a kill. But they're just playing with their food at this point, Axeman. Another dragon will go over to the hands of Fisher College. I think they've got their eyes set on the Baron this time around.
Up to 3 now. Both dragons and items in the inventory for Saligo. I'm thinking Fisher and the dragons might be ahead on this particular game. Up 6k gold. Up tons of kills. Up dragons. Game 2 maybe just going over to Fisher this time around.
And again, it's Jenkins coming back from a slightly unfavorable situation on this Camille. And you know he's got many other champions that he can do this on. It still is the most terrifying thing about Fisher to me is the different ways that they can attack you, the different ways that they can and have won games. Serenok's got this Vhagar in his back pocket, right? In a composition that kind of has to run at you to start things, right? Or you got to rely on a Chains of Corruption, a really good vision-manipulated Abyssal Dive, right? I like the, Shurelius. Thank you, Brain. The Shurelius there from Vhagar, right? Again, knowing that, look, I'll just rely on my damage. He's got a little over 300 stacks, I believe, at this point. DMK is an absolute demon. He knows his role right now, and Fisher, you wouldn't really know that these guys haven't played together all that much. Again, this iteration of 5 players has only played through NECC playoffs and now in CLOL, starting in top 32, right? Once the actual national championship kicked off here. But even though Jenkins and Poom, they were the subs, Jenkins and Keel, they do play with each other very recently in the NACL on TLC. So they've got some pre-existing synergy here. One Tyler able to get close enough here to Keel. Keel started the fight, but he might regret doing so. Big ol' impale as the Rue comes down from the Chains of Corruption. There goes the Whirling Death. It's not enough damage, though. Fighting under a tower. It gives them an extra man, and Fisher punch back with all the hands they've got. One over to DMK. Another one. If he needed more gold. Revy in some trouble here. Not even able to go all out to save himself. I'm not sure he wants to. Just wants to walk away with that. The Primordial Strike is massive there onto one Tyler. He gets effectively taken out of the game. He cannot fight back. Poom low as well, but no blood further spilled. Baron time here for Fisher. Serenok gets the E down at a beautiful choke point. That's just what the doctor ordered there, and DMK lines it up, but it's not enough to take down Revy. This dragon should be over Here, this Baron, should be taken down in just a couple seconds here. Hawker, again, just came back to life, so not able to contest it, but the kill is go over there to Saligo. There's your Gen G Baron buff there for Fisher, and they're going to run it if they get these kills right into the base to grab a couple inhibitors, unless, of course, Aloysia has something to say about it. One Tyler with a huge kill. Big steaming pile of shutdown gold in his pocket. Hawker chasing down, getting the permafrost stacks there onto Keel. But one Tyler, he gets within even spitting distance in the same zip code as Serenok. Wow. And he is just raining damage onto him. Keel trying to go back in here. My goodness. I mean, Serenok's just free firing here, ripping right through Hawker and gets the E down as well. And the ultimate, it came back off cooldown, Axeman.
Man, oh man, Serenok and Keel putting on a clinic there. 2v4? That's wild. Just Saligo makes it out, able to clear these waves as they're pushed in by Fisher potentially. But your Gen G Baron buff is underway now. This is one heck of a power play for them. They're pushing down two of these lanes, looking for those inhibitors. And I think they're going to get quite a few there, but what a play. You thought when one Tyler was walking up to the fight towards the backside that maybe they would be able to turn this one around, but the Draven just wasn't enough, and Saligo, of course, getting burst out by Serenok, and the damage coming through there from the Vygar made that fight impossible for them to get into. Hex Gates now, they're looking for something.
Going for the hero play. I don't know if they expected Keel to be there, though. They wanted the wrap around there onto Serenok and Poom, but they're the ones aggressing onto him now. Saligo able to set up the kill there for one Tyler. Another big old pile of shutdown gold in his pockets. Revy and Jenkins doing top laner things here, but Jenkins has a 2-level lead on a now all-out and very defenseless Revy here. Pops the Hextech ultimatum. The CC comes down. Is able to take down Saligo, but the Q3 will set up the kill there for the Cassante. Revy gets one back. It's 2-2 as far as this fight is concerned, but the 3 remaining with that Gen G Baron buff should be enough here to at least threaten to end the game, if not end it outright, especially with Saligo down, Axeman.
I'd have to echo that one. 4x4. This could potentially be the end of the game. Big ultimate!
That was a Cassante, by the way. The Primordial Burst deletes Nazuma's finest from the map. One Tyler gets the cleanse off, but Poom is just running him down. He gets one more stack of that empowered, of the acquired taste, and that'll be the end of one Tyler. Gobbles him up, spits him out into the waiting arms of Serenok. Keel playing with his food, padding those stats. Fisher College with a dominant game 2 are 1 game away from advancing to the top 8.
Oh man, 4x4, I don't think you can let Serenok have this Vygar champion that he likes so much. DMK is just going to be a problem for you no matter what, but wow, that was something else coming out of the mid lane. I mean, Shirelia is the item coming through to start him off, was so dangerous there for Serenok. The man is an absolute menace on that champion. Can't let him have it, but honestly, 4x4, where do you go in game 3 for a victory for CU Black? I truly do not know. Maybe some kind of dark altar for a victory at this point.
Yeah, maybe you start digging into the back sections of, you start looking at the back of the Ouija board to see if you've got any last-ditch efforts to call upon.
The old magic, yeah.
Yeah, the old cursed magics, MAGICKS. But, no, I mean, and it's tough because, like you said, you kind of forgot about, I'll speak for myself here, I kind of forgot about the Vhagar in the early game, right? He built that Shirelia's early, right? He wasn't getting the Archangel stacked up, and DMK was just running riot, so you thought, oh, well, they've got a 7-kill Varus by like 15 minutes. This one's Jover. But they fought back. They tried to claw back here, but by the time they were taking fights on somewhat even terms, by the time Saligo was making plays, by the time one Tyler got 2 shutdowns into his pocket, then all of a sudden, guess who's back? Back again. It's Vhagar with a death cap, with a some void pen item that
he had something, man. It was crazy at the end.
Once he finally got the damage stacked up, didn't matter that he was holding, as far as damage is concerned, a dead weight item in his inventory. Fisher just rolled right through CU Black. My big swing, my big correction that I wanted to see was put one Tyler on something that could carry, and it did not work out. So we're gonna take it to a break. Coach 4x4 is going to think of another maybe draft adaptation that CU Black can take here. As they're down 2-0, they face quite the mountain to climb back, but it ain't over till it's over, so we hope you'll stay here until it is. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with